So there's one thing that I just don't have time for in my life anymore, and that is my own bullshit. My own excuses as to why it can't be done, why I don't have enough resources, why I don't have enough time, or why it's overwhelming. Everything that used to stop me in my life, I just don't have time for it anymore. When you go down this route deep enough, when you go deep enough into your own darkness and your own mind-body connection, you realize everything that's stopping you, and I mean everything, every bit of fear, every bit of anxiety, depression, it's all just made up. It's all absolutely made up. You have a choice every single moment to connect to the moment and be like, yes, and what else is possible, and what else is possible today, and what else is possible in this moment. Like maybe I can take this next 10 minutes to go work on that thing. And you'll find out that in those 10 minutes of saying yes to your passion, to your deliverance, and to what's actually calling you, will unlock more than you thinking about it and thinking that it can't be done, that you've done over the past year or 2 or 3 or a decade of thinking about it or putting it off, of buying into the BS. I just don't have time for it anymore. And it's so funny, it's just become more and more like a part of my life and who I am. And like one thing I've started doing since like January, I just run. I get up in the morning and I run, sometimes a mile, sometimes 2, sometimes 5. Sometimes I run in the blistering heat, whether it's on the beach somewhere in Ecuador or here in Spain right now where it's like over 100 degrees. And it's just become like embracing the freaking hardship is so awesome sometimes. It's not even hardship. It's just part of what you do to transmute the bullshit into reality. The other day I was running in the blistering heat and somebody stopped me and they're like, oh my God, you're running in this heat, like, que calor. And I just looked at him like, what planet are you from? Like, what heat? What are you talking about? It's just me sweating my ass off today, doing what I need to do to stay true to honoring the power and the strength and this force inside of me which wants to move. There's so much more energy and so much more aliveness and creativity available to you if you actually say yes to hardship. Like a lot of people, they complain about not having enough energy or not enough resources or not enough anything. And what I've found in my life is that all that stuff shows up, but you've got to actually say yes to the difficulty, to the freaking pain, to the nightmare, to the goal, to the vision, and then you'll get supported. Because here's the thing, like, nobody is coming to save you, okay? Nobody's coming to save you. That's the first thing that you got to get. No one's coming to save you except you. However, everyone is coming to help you, right? But they're only going to come and help you when you help yourself first, okay? Resources, they always align themselves around those people who are resourceful, and help always comes to those who help themselves. But you've got to actually step into the ring. You got to step into the fire. I was talking to someone the other day on a call, and she was a beautiful woman, and she was going through a lot in her life, had come through a lot of transformation, but like so many people, she was still in this place of like, I just still haven't found my thing. It still hasn't showed up, and I'm waiting for it to show up. I'm waiting for this light thing to show up in my life, but it's just haven't showed up. I know I've done all these things, I've done everything you talk about, but it's just not showing up. Like what's wrong? And we like dug into it deeper and deeper, and I asked her a few questions. I'm like, cool, well, what are you doing with like your job? Well, it's like, it's kind of really heavy, and I really want to quit, but I don't really want to, because kind of like I might get retirement money from it, but it's really stressful and it's dense as fuck, and I just don't want to do it. But I'm waiting till this other light thing shows up that feels lighter and more expansive, and then I'll know, and I can let go of this heavy thing. And it's because that's not showing up yet. Maybe I need to do more internal work on myself. And I was like, no, honey, like that's not showing up because you're still hanging on to this thing. That's why that energy hasn't actually showed up. There comes a point where there's just no amount of meditation or praying to God or to whoever or to whatever force will do anything for you except actually stepping into the force, actually stepping into the unknown. There has to come a point where you're just like, okay, enough. I'm actually going to go do this scary, really difficult thing, and I'll let go of this heavy thing in my life so I can welcome something new. And that choice is before every single one of us, every single day pretty much. But it gets disguised by your own bullshit. Like, no, now's not the time. Or maybe it's going to be easier one day. Or maybe I'll stay in this heavy thing a bit longer until this new thing shows up. Like, think about it. If you were like with someone who was like abusing you and beating you every single day, would you be like, you know what? I really would love a lighter relationship, but that person hasn't shown up yet, so I'm just gonna like let this person beat the crap out of me for another year till that shows up. And then when that shows up, then I'll let go of this thing. But for now, I'll just get my ass beat every single day. That's crazy, right? But where are you doing that in your life? Where am I doing that today? Like, it's every single moment. You've got a choice to let go of the bullshit and go for something higher. It doesn't show up until you let go of the old thing. It's got to come from that leap of faith. So when I was young, and I mean like 19, I was once climbing like a big ass tall tree with a friend, like a huge pine tree, like way taller than this. And I learned this lesson. We climbed to the top of this tree, and we were crazy because there's like this other tree next to us. And we wanted to jump from that tree to this one. And we actually like started rocking the tree back and forth and trying to like grab onto this other top of this other tree. It was crazy. It was like a freaking, 80 feet below us, fall through branches. Like, he could die. And he actually managed to do it. He like grabbed onto the other one and hopped onto this other tree. And I was like, whoa, dude, you did it. You actually did it. You hopped into the other tree. And so then it was my turn. And I started trying to do this. And I was waving back and forth between these trees. And my heart was just pounding because there was this huge drop below me. For whatever reason, I just couldn't get a hold of this other tree, the other treetop. I almost gave up. And I will never forget, my friend looked at me. He was a really cool guy. He was like very, very much in his body and in this Zen mode. And he was just sitting on the top of this tree, like kind of laughing and smiling at me. He said, brother, how can you expect to get to this tree if you're hanging on so tightly to the other one? And I looked at myself in that moment. I wasn't even conscious of like what was going on with my body, and I just took a check-in of awareness, and I realized I was hanging on to this other tree I was on for like dear life, like this, just like hugging it, afraid I would fall off. And as soon as I took a deep breath and I relaxed, I actually extended my arm, and I hang onto this tree only with my fingertips, like with my arm, and had a good hold on it. I was able to just easily swing to the other tree and grab it, and I just stepped onto it. And before I knew it, this great leap of faith that I thought would be this perilous adventure just was this easy swing, grab, and go onto this other thing. It may seem, if you believe in the BS, that the limitations are so great. It may seem that there's a death fall before you, but it's not. That's the made up stuff. That's the false evidence appearing real. The reality is that you have an infinite amount of support around you. Like I said, those who help themselves, they get the help. Those who find the resources, they will be resourced. You just have to take the leap. And even if it looks like shit isn't going your way, believe me, it is. Because you are stepping up into a frequency of courage, of bravery, of passion, taking life by the horns, and life will respond to it one way or another. Maybe you'll quit your current job to start this new business, this new venture, this new adventure, and maybe the new thing won't arrive right away, but you're already in the leap. You're already free. And that is ultimately what you actually want, to be somebody who prioritizes freedom, courage, bravery, being one with that, instead of being a slave to your own bullshit. That's the passion, that's the journey that I'm on, and that's the gospel of Casper for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Love your support. But if you want to go deeper and work with me, the link's down below. See you next time.